there's a very strong area of support right at 22. That's where the rising 200-day moving average currently sits. There's also nice horizontal support there. Still not sure we're going to pull quite back that far, but if we do, I would view that as a fantastic buying opportunity. I've been saving up cash for the last few months. That's where I'd be buying aggressively myself.
This is Kaiser Johnson with Liberty and Finance, and this is the Miles Franklin Weekly Special from May 23rd through May 30th, 2023, while supplies last. This week we feature the Ital Preziosi 10-ounce silver bars at just $3.49 over spot per ounce. Frequently, you have to choose between high-volume bars like 1,000-ounce bars to get low premiums, or pay a higher premium for more liquidity. But these Ital Preziosi 10-ounce bars not only maintain a great level of liquidity from a respected mint, but also boast one of our lowest premiums in several months at $3.49 over spot per ounce while supplies last. They come individually numbered, are available in any quantity, and come 50 to a box. They are also IRA eligible. If you'd like to learn more about a precious metals IRA, call us, and we'll be happy to help you in that process. To order these specials or any of the many other options we have available, call us at 1-888-81-LIBERTY. That's 1-888-815-4237. We're available after hours and on weekends, and we look forward to speaking with you.
Hey everyone, this is Elijah K. Johnson with Liberty and Finance, and back with us today is our good friend Steve Penny, the Silver Chartist. Our affiliate link with him is silverchartistliberty.com. Find that in the description of this video. Steve, thank you so much for joining us today.
You bet, Elijah. Thanks for inviting me back. I look forward to talking the markets for a few minutes here.
Definitely. Thank you so much for coming on. We really wanted to have you back on because we're seeing this pullback that you predicted in the metals. I know our last interview was titled Caution, Silver Pullback Ahead, and we're definitely seeing the most dramatic between the two metals. Silver is typically moving more dramatically. So if you could share with us what's happening in silver right now.
Yeah, there was caution warranted. I think the last time we spoke was, this last intraday high on the 5th of May. And we've certainly seen the pullback. So now the question is, well, where's the next support levels to watch? And that's why I like charts. They allow you to make kind of if-then statements. If this happens, then this becomes the path of least resistance. So this morning's low was $22.86 on silver. That's off from $26.44 from that high last month, or earlier this month, I should say. So $4 pullback. There's a very strong area of support right at 22. That's where the rising 200-day moving average currently sits. There's also nice horizontal support there. Still not sure we're going to pull quite back that far, but if we do, I would view that as a fantastic buying opportunity. I've been saving up cash for the last few months. That's where I'd be buying aggressively myself.
Are you able to share your screen here so that our viewers can get a visual on that?
Yes, you can see this 26.44 high. This was on May 5th. And today's low, 22.86. And here's that 200-day moving average, currently at 21.99. But every day that's rising. So let's just call it right about 22. That's a really nice area of support, that $22 area.
And as for gold, I know we're seeing a pullback to the 1940, 1950 level, which is $100 off its high there. So where do you think gold stands right now, and how far could it pull back?
Yeah, I'm kind of smiling a little bit because I remember last time when we were talking about caution, and you said something like, well, so you see maybe $100, $150 of downside. And to your credit, like you're right, that's not that big a deal when you're looking at a chart. But I think my answer was like, these are emotional markets, and yeah, $150 pullback doesn't sound like a big deal. But when it happens, everyone's like, this is the worst, gold's crashing. So we've seen that, and it's only down, just over $100, but it feels worse than that for some reason. Yeah, right here, right at trendline support, this could be the low. Part of me thinks we're more likely to fail here and then pull back towards this 200-day moving average. If that happens, just like 22 in silver, it would be a fantastic opportunity. Mid to low 18s in gold, very strong support there. And if we do pull back that far, we'd be extremely oversold. All of the speculative froth would be kind of washed out, and I think that would set us up nicely for a run to new all-time highs. I think that's likely coming this year. 2089 is the intraday high on gold. Once we get above 2089, that's a number I think people should kind of commit to memory, because getting above 2089 unlocks these higher targets, the most conservative of which is $2,500 gold. And I think we're even going higher than that in the fullness of time, but 2,500 will become kind of an intermediate target once we get above 2089. And I think that happens after this next low is carved out.
Now, if we do look at the other markets, I know those can be an indicator of where precious metals are heading and kind of a reason why we're seeing this pullback here. What is the US dollar doing right now? Because I know it's kind of testing a resistance, as we mentioned before we started recording.
It is. Here's the daily chart for the dollar, and you can see this downtrend line that goes all the way back to September of 2022. This, by the way, coincided with roughly the lows in the metals. So the dollar's been trending lower, the metals have been trending higher. There's not always a perfect inverse correlation between the two, but when the dollar is going down, I think of it as kind of like a tailwind for the metals. So we've seen this rising dollar be a headwind in the last few weeks. We're right up against resistance, starting to get overbought. If we get through this downtrend line right here, the path of least resistance will be a run up towards the 200-day at 106, right about 106. If that happens, I think that's probably about as high as the dollar runs. If we run up to 106, that would probably coincide with, those pullback targets that we talked about in gold, mid 1800s, somewhere near $22 silver. And then, as the dollar reverses lower again, I think the metals will reverse higher. That's the way I see it unfolding over the next few weeks.
And as for any other fundamental reasons, your perspective on why we're seeing this pullback right now in the metals?
Yeah, that's why I like charts. It takes in I like to say charts are the most information-dense source of information you can get, because all of the opinions and expert analysis of all these people is condensed into the charts. But, unfortunately, everything still centers around the Fed. And, they're still talking tough, like they're going to keep raising rates higher for longer. I'm highly skeptical of that. In fact, I think they're going to pause either here or at the next meeting. But they're jawboning. Some people call it FOMC, Federal Open Mouth Operations, or something like that, FOMO. And they're kind of talking the dollar higher here. But I think talk is cheap. And unless they're willing to see more things break on a bigger scale, I think they're going to have to pause and eventually go back to debt monetization and full-on QE sooner than many people think, maybe as early as this fall.
Now, I know last time we also touched on platinum. Where do you see it right now? Do you see that this pullback is a buying opportunity? We're not obviously seeing as dramatic of a pullback as we are seeing in silver, but we're definitely still seeing a pullback here.
We are, yeah. And I keep stating on your show is platinum, why I like it so much, one of the reasons is its undervaluation relative to gold and other hard assets. Also, a lot of potential fundamental catalysts as well, with substitution for palladium and even hydrogen fuel cell technology. As far as buying the dip, I mean, you could scale in here. I think anything near 1,000 is a pretty good bargain. I think we're going much higher in the years ahead. But if you really want to be patient, like I've already got my full position, so I can be very patient. And anything down near this 200-day, 983, I think is a really good buying opportunity. If we saw some kind of deflationary impulse, I think it would be a short-term dip, down into these $800 or $900 levels. Don't necessarily expect that, but if that were to happen, that's where it would be I think a fantastic buying opportunity.
And if we also do look at the stock market, I know a lot of people are concerned about a further pullback from here. Your perspective on kind of what we've seen and where do we stand with respect to the Fed's decision to probably pivot sometime soon? Yeah,
with general equities. And I want to give credit to people on our site, David Brady, Kyle Heineman, have really articulated this thesis well. Some people might call it the melt up or whatever you want to call it. Everyone is extreme bearish right now, and there's a lot of money on the sidelines. So I think a path of least resistance, a likely scenario here is that we get a melt up. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of that word melt up because it implies, a lot of drama. But I think we could see a sustained move higher in all assets, particularly risk-on assets, once the Fed says that word pause, because markets are forward-looking. They're going to anticipate all this easy money. And that would suck in a lot of the retail investors before the big deflationary impulse that a lot of people expect. It would be kind of a sucker's rally. So that's kind of the baseline scenario. They say pause, everything moves up, including silver, gold, our mining stocks, uranium equities. And that's where we'll be looking to take significant profits if that does happen.
No, it seems like right now for the stock market, even if we were to see this kind of melt up, the risk reward ratio, it doesn't seem very good right now.
Yeah, I agree. From a long term, I don't think most people should participate in that unless you're a trader with stop losses and risk management and things like that. Yeah, it's a purely speculative trade. I wouldn't bet the house on it. on that happening. If you're looking to just scale into stocks for the long term and just sit on them, I think we're going to see much, much better opportunities in the months and years ahead. I personally can't wait for that. I would love to just own some index funds that pay a dividend, and that's easy, and you get nice dividend. But the valuations don't justify that. I think that day is coming when we can trade some metals and mining stock profits for undervalued equities, but we're still a long way from that.
If you could remind our viewers, kind of based on the price points right now we're seeing in gold, silver, and platinum, what are some good points to scale in? And also, this is a question that a lot of people ask, like the ratio people should own between gold, silver, and platinum. What is your insights on that? Understanding we can't give financial advice.
Yeah, two levels. So I said committing 2089 to memory because that's the intraday high in gold. Getting above there unlocks the higher targets. Some kind of support levels to kind of commit to memory. In silver would be roughly $22, and in gold, call it $18.25. There's a range about $18.10 up to $18.50. Just call it $18.25. If you see those numbers, just know that we're probably very oversold and sitting right against key support. That's a statistically optimal place to accumulate. Nothing's guaranteed that it can't go lower, but $18.25 gold, $22 silver.
Fantastic. And as for platinum, I know that you're pretty aggressive in your forecast or your position on platinum. For the average investor out there, what is your perspective?
Yeah, the simplest way to build a physical portfolio in precious metals, and you can speak to this better than I can, is just to have some silver, some gold, and just sit on it and wait until all of this unfolds. And you don't have to worry about all this wild swings and volatility in between. But there are some ways you can amplify your gains over the long term with, I think, some minimal effort. And some of that includes playing the ratios. You can use the gold-silver ratio to your advantage. And when it gets far out of whack, you can focus more on accumulating silver. And then when the ratio compresses, say 30-1, you can swap silver for gold and end up with a lot more gold. Well, you can do the same thing with platinum. That ratio, the platinum to gold ratio, is the most historically out of whack. So if you want to be a little bit more aggressive and end up with some more gold, you could buy some platinum now and hopefully swap it for gold later. The risk with that is we've seen this before where you can't get the metal. You've seen big delays and, where your phone's ringing off the hook and there's a delay, so there's not a guarantee you're always going to be able to swap one for the other. So I do 20% of my physical portfolio in platinum with the intention to swap it for gold down the road when the ratio dictates. So this chart goes back just over 20 years, 1999. You can see back in the early 2000s, platinum traded at twice the price of gold. It was twice the price. Right now, it's half the price of gold. That's a big historic anomaly that you just don't see very often, if ever. So you can see right now, platinum is 0.53, just over half the price of gold. If we just mean revert to back to 2-1, platinum would outperform by a factor of 4. So I think that's a speculation worthy of consideration for those who are willing to just look at this ratio chart. And when we go to when the pendulum swings in the opposite direction, you can swap some platinum for gold. Here's a platinum to silver ratio chart as well. This surprised me because I do believe silver is the most undervalued metal. From a risk reward perspective, I think silver is a much safer play than platinum, but it is undervalued historically, and platinum has the potential to outperform silver. That's not a prediction that it will, but it could. You can see how undervalued it is. If we get back to where we were here, let's see. Yeah, it could outperform by a wide margin, several fold.
Fantastic. Well, Steve Penny, we really appreciate your time today. Before we let you go, if our viewers are interested in learning more, they can find the link in the affiliate link in the description of this video. So they'll be supporting this channel along the way if they'd like to sign up for your newsletter. Tell us a bit about that and how people can get involved.
Yeah, thank you for that opportunity. Thanks for inviting me on. SilverChartistLiberty.com. It's fully transparent, over-the-shoulder service with real-time alerts. I share exactly what I'm doing, screenshots of my own portfolio, and I send out alerts every time I buy or sell. I make mistakes. I'm not always perfect, far from it. But hopefully that full transparency helps our investors and members make better decisions with their own investing. Also got a fantastic community, people centered around pursuing time freedom to pursue life's higher callings, things of eternal significance. It's more about just making a bunch of money so we can buy a bunch of stuff. We want to have time freedom so we can go focus on the things that really matter in life. That kind of unites our community.
Fantastic. Steve, once again, thank you so much for your time, and God bless.
Thank you, Elijah.
Miles Franklin Precious Metals is one of America's oldest and most trusted bullion dealers. Miles Franklin is A+ rated and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, licensed and bonded, and has 0 complaints ever registered. Here at Liberty and Finance, we are licensed brokers with Miles Franklin. To order, simply call us, discuss your needs, and we can let you know our live inventory, prices, and availability, and lock in your order over the phone. Once your order is locked, the price is held for you regardless of market fluctuations, and the metals are reserved for you awaiting your settled payment. Within 1 business day of ordering, you will receive an email invoice detailing the order and payment instructions. Miles Franklin accepts payments by bank wire, ACH or electronic check, money order, check mailed priority mail, and cryptocurrency. The fastest forms of payment are bank wire and cryptocurrency. Upon settled payment, metals will ship out within 3 to 5 business days. You will receive tracking information via email. Domestic shipping charges are $15 for any order under 500 ounces of silver or 10 ounces of gold. For orders larger than that, domestic shipping is free. The package will be boxed, fully insured, and labeled discreetly, with no indication of the contents inside. For your privacy, the name Miles Franklin will not even be on the package. To talk to myself, Kaiser, my brother Elijah, or my father Dunnigan, call 1-888-81-LIBERTY. That's 1-888-815-4237.